Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about how I lost 10 kilos or 22 pounds over the course of 6 months. So the idea for this video came from when I posted a graph to my story, and this was a graph of my weight loss over the course of the past 6 months. Now as you can see, it is not linear. Weight loss is never something that's like completely linear and perfect. There's so many ups and downs. Your weight is going to fluctuate. You are going to hit plateaus, but if you stick with it in the long run, you will get the results. So I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I did to lose these 10 kilograms in terms of how much cardio I did, how many calories I was eating, the way I trained, how many steps I was doing, any supplements I took, and how I felt overall. Now, just as a disclaimer, these numbers are completely arbitrary because they are my numbers, not yours. We are completely different. Everyone has different calorie targets, different macronutrient targets, things like that. And also, I'm not trying to say that the way I looked before was bad. It was just obviously I had different goals. There's nothing wrong with the way I looked before. So I started my cutting phase on the 10th of February 2020. I had done a bulk for about 4 months, and before that I was reverse dieting for 2 months. So I was eating in a surplus for a long time. Towards the end of my bulk, it got quite extreme. Like, it turned into a dirty bulk essentially. I was eating a lot of junk food, and luckily for me, I do have an adaptive metabolism. I do have a fast metabolism, and I'm very active in general. So although I did gain a lot of weight, it didn't look that bad on me, and obviously other people could have gained a lot more weight eating the same amount of calories. So I ended my bulk eating around 3,000 calories a day on average. I weighed in at 63.5 kilos on the last day of my bulk, which is the heaviest I have ever weighed in my life. And I was doing about 12,000 steps a day, and I wasn't doing any formal cardio at all. It was just me doing some steps because obviously I was a very active person and working an active job. So just naturally I was walking around a lot. So that was like my starting point, and then from there I was like, okay, let's reduce my calories to 2,400. So I ate 2,400 calories for the first 2 weeks of my cut, and by doing that I lost 2 kilograms. So I went down to 61.5 in 2 weeks, which was pretty good. And what I was doing to measure my progress was obviously I was weighing myself every day, and what I would do is I would take the average weight of that week and count it as like that week's weight. If that makes sense, because your weight will fluctuate a lot on a day-to-day basis because of water, sodium, what time you ate, whether you took a shit, things like that. So I would weigh myself every day in the morning, first thing in the morning after having used the toilet. And I also took weekly progress pictures every Monday or Tuesday, depending on if I had time in the morning. So I would literally just wake up, like, you know, weigh myself and then put my phone like on self-timer, and then just take a front picture, a side picture, and a back picture, completely relaxed. And that is how I measured my progress. So after that I was like, okay, let's, you know, kick it up a notch. So I reduced my calories to 2,200 calories for another 2 weeks or so, and I still kept on losing weight. I went down to about 60.5 kilograms, and then I still wasn't doing any cardio, still training really hard. My training split at the time was an upper lower split, so I did lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body, rest. So I was training 6 days a week, which was a lot, but I spread out my volume pretty evenly over the course of those 6 workouts. So that was going pretty well for me. I wasn't feeling too hungry. I was still eating. I mean, my protein intake was pretty high. I was eating around 200 grams of protein, about 200 grams of carbs as well. The rest of my calories came from fat, and I was very flexible with my macros. I just mainly focused on hitting my calories and my protein, and then carbs and fats did vary day to day. And my meals used to look a lot like oatmeal in the morning, so protein oats, and then I'd have seitan and rice for lunch, and then I'd have protein pasta for dinner, and then snacks included things like either protein bars, or I really liked corn thins, lentil cakes, and I did still manage to fit like cappuccinos and stuff into my macros because my macros are quite high. I obviously tracked everything using MyFitnessPal, and I weighed everything. Now if you're wondering why this is so important, is because in order to lose fat you need to be in a calorie deficit, and if you want to make sure you're in a calorie deficit, you want to be tracking everything that you're doing. So that is why I tracked everything. Now Now about like a month and a half in, I reduced my calories down to 2,000 and my weight was hovering around 59 kilograms. And this is when lockdown started as well here in England. So getting my steps in was a lot harder. I upped my steps to 15,000 steps a day. I didn't want to do any formal cardio, especially because I didn't have any cardio machines at home, right? We had no gym. So I did buy some weights. I bought like a barbell, dumbbells, plates, so that was fine. But in terms of cardio, I just stuck to doing steps every day. I did go through like a running phase, but you know, it didn't really last very long because it was just hurting my joints too much. But yeah, essentially calories were down to 2,000 and I was just doing 15,000 steps a day. I was looking a lot leaner at this point. I was still feeling really strong, you know, hitting the weights. I was still training. When lockdown happened, I reduced my training to 5 days a week. I didn't want to train my upper body as much because I felt like I didn't need to. My upper body was quite developed, so I was training my legs 3 times a week and my upper body twice a week, and I went more for a low volume, high intensity approach. So I wasn't doing like 4 or 5 sets. I was doing tops 3 sets per exercise, maybe 4 exercises per workout, and just taking every set to failure and going really hard at home. And then I think I hit a plateau at around like 58, 59 kilos. So I reduced my calories again to 1,800 and I upped my steps to 16,000, I think, 16,000 steps per week. And I was being pretty flexible with my diet at this point. Like I obviously was eating like 90% clean foods, but I did allow myself like some halo top here and there. I did fit it into my macros all the time, so I never really went over my macros ever because I practiced flexible dieting. So that was like, in that sense, I was enjoying myself a lot. And then in April, I kind of realized, okay, I hit a plateau, my body's not responding no matter how much I cut my calories, and I think I need a diet break because I had been dieting for over 2 months at that point in April. So I do have a video where I explain what diet breaks are and why they're useful, so you guys can go check that out. But essentially a diet break is when you bring your calories back up to maintenance for a week or 2 just to restore your metabolic hormones and to reduce cortisol and reduce stress. That way when you come out of the diet break, your body will respond better to a calorie deficit and you will drop weight again. So in April, I did a 2-week diet break. I brought my calories back up to 2,000 because that was my new maintenance calories at that lower body weight of between 58 and 59 kilograms. And the increase in calories came mainly from carbs. So that was awesome. And then after that diet break, it was like the end of April, I realized, okay, I have 6 weeks left till my photo shoot in June. I had a photo shoot on the 20th of June. First ever photo shoot I had ever done. So I was like, all right, let's, you know, step it up. I'm gonna reduce my calories down to 1,750. So that's what I did. And then I upped my steps to 17,000 steps per day. Still no like formal cardio yet, obviously, because gyms were closed. I did not have any machines. What is my hair doing today? I swear it's just on the days that I decide to film a video for YouTube that my hair just starts acting whack. Okay, anyways, so that worked pretty well. My weight started coming down, and this was the first time I started to experiment with a low carb diet. It wasn't keto because most of my calories weren't coming from fat and my carbs weren't that low. It's just I did reduce my carbs down a lot more than what I am used to. I had never done this before, so it was new to me. Lowering your carbs isn't necessarily going to make you lose fat, but it does make you lose a lot of water weight because carbs do hold on to water in your muscles. So what I did was I did a 5 low carb day and then 2 high carb day approach. That way on the high carb days my muscles fill back out and I get a really good pump when I train. And the reason why I started doing this was because I wanted to just give my body something different from what I had been doing before, and because when you deplete yourself of carbohydrates, you're depleting your glycogen stores, and that way you get like a harder, drier look. And I just wanted to get a sense of like, I wanted to start practicing the whole carb up process before my photo shoot just to know what quantity of carbs would work well for my body, because it is different for everyone. So I started doing that 5 low day, 2 high day approach. On my low days, I would have a lot of soy yogurt instead of my oats. I completely cut out oats. I had a lot of soy yogurt because it has 0 carbs. I had a lot of seitan, green beans, peanut butter. That was essentially all my diet was. I had soy yogurt twice a day, seitan and green beans twice a day. I had a couple of servings of peanut butter and sometimes a protein bar depending on the day. But I still, set myself some macros. So I think I brought my carbs down to 70 grams of carbs a day. My protein was super high. high, like still 200 grams, and then my fats are around like 50 grams of fat per day. So those were like my low days, and then on my higher days I just bumped up my carbs, lowered my protein a little bit, and I did that for 6 weeks until my photo shoot, and I managed to go from like 58.5 to 55 kilograms in 6 weeks. So I lost 3.5 kilos, and I'm very happy with how the photo shoot turned out. I was really lean. That was the leanest I had been in a long time, and at that point is when I decided that I wanted to compete in October. That's why I'm on prep right now. If you guys are new to my channel, go check out my prep series as well. I'm documenting my entire prep. So that's when I hired a coach, Paul Revelia from Team Pro Physique. He's awesome, and basically he gave me my starting plans. He was like, look, like with your macros in terms of calories, like the calories that you're consuming right now, like they're not bad, but it's more just like the macronutrient profile. We can make that better in terms of performance for you in the gym. So he did up my carbs a bit more, lowered my protein. He was like, your protein is way too high, and I was like, I know, I just really like the taste of my protein powder. And yeah, so my calories around that point were about 1600 calories a day, and we were doing the same thing, like a 5 low day 2 high day approach with my coach, which was pretty good. And to be honest, I lost like a kilo maybe in like the first 4 weeks of prep, and then I just started stalling, and it really made me feel like shit. I was super discouraged, even though I looked leaner and everything, and I just felt like I wasn't really progressing that much. And then coach was like, okay, let's do a diet break, because I also had trouble sleeping. I was really hungry. My calories were down to like 1550 at some point, which is pretty low for me. And coach was like, okay, let's bump up your calories and lower your cardio. We did a diet break. The first week of my diet break, I lost a kilo, which was amazing. I went down to like high 53s, low 54 kilograms. And then coach was like, okay, let's do another week of diet break. So again, my calories were still up about 1750. Cardio, oh, I forgot to mention, when I started working with Paul, he started giving me cardio. He first gave me 5 times 30 minutes of cardio, and then he gave me 5 times 45 minutes of cardio, and that's what I'm still on right now in August. We're at the second week of August right now. So I started doing that on a treadmill, incline walking, because there was this outdoor gym that opened just in time. So I started doing my cardio on a treadmill instead of going on runs, and I hate running. So when we did that diet break, the second week, he said, okay, keep your calories the same, but we'll reduce, we'll add more cardio. So we went to the 5 times 45 minutes cardio. Calories were still 1750 on week 2 of my diet break, and I lost another like 2 kilos. I think my lowest weigh-in was like 52.8 kilograms, which is crazy. And then we did like in the 3rd week of diet break, my weight kind of stabilized at around 53 kilos. So right now I am on lower calories. I'm on about 1650 per like kind of average over the week. I'm doing again the 5 low days 2 high day approach, and basically yeah, that is how I lost 10 kilograms in 6 months. As you guys can tell, it wasn't linear. There was a lot of plateaus. I had to take a couple diet breaks, a lot of ups and downs, but you know, I still made it just because I stuck with it. And this is like just advice if you're looking to lose such a big amount of weight, is don't think it's gonna happen overnight. It takes a lot of time, as you can see, and also you need to have a plan in place. So you want to make sure you're tracking your calories, keep your protein high to maintain muscle, and you want to be tracking your steps and your cardio, because those are very important components of the calories out part of the equation, right? You want to be tracking both calories in and calories out to make sure that you're always in a deficit. I would highly recommend hiring a coach. I wish I hired Paul earlier, because it would have taken a lot of stress and a lot of guesswork out of it. If you guys are looking for a online coach, I do offer online coaching with weekly check-ins, personalized training programs, macros, things like that. So if you're interested, drop me a DM on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram in the description down below. And that is essentially how I lost 10 kilograms in 6 months, you guys. No like quick fixes, no tricks, just consistency and hard work. And yeah, that brings this video to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any questions you have for me, let me know in a comment down below. And if you like these kinds of videos around fitness and nutrition, please subscribe to my channel and drop this video a like. And until next time, bye guys.